What is up, everybody? This is Rennie P coming at you live in Miami on Crimes of Musical Shock as this city's busiest music nerd, presenting you with the first full-blown video review on this channel of what I consider to be my favorite album of 2024 as of the time I am recording this. This album in question is none other than Attempted Martyr by the Dearborn, Michigan-based and partly Arab-Polish-American noise rock post-hardcore band Prostitute. That was a mouthful. This is their debut album, and it spans a fair number of influences from the windmill scene and classic noise rock, as well as traditional Arabic Levantine music, albeit mostly sampled, and it's not just Arabic music that's being sampled here. It's an absolute cacophony of lyrically dissonant tirades of an Islamic fundamentalist character off the deep end and walls of intensely distorted guitar noise and reedy sampling that assault the listener with the purest form of Arab energy since Arab punk rockers' harams. When you have won, you have lost. In an interview with The Quietest that I ended up reading on, lead singer Mo Kazra was inspired by Tishomaren music from the Tuareg people of North Africa when integrating the Arabic elements into the band's music, as they originally intended to make rock music that would presumably disrupt the quietness of Dearborn. Sonic hints of bands such as Death Grips, Black Midi, Early Swans, later era Daughters, The Fall, Big Black, and even garage rock, as well as other forms of pigfuck, can be pinpointed across the many intense moments this album holds. Mo additionally cites Funhouse by the Stooges as an additional influence in the same interview here, which was introduced to him by the band's drummer Andrew Castor. Now, instead of simply sticking to the usual rock shtick, Prostitute pushed beyond their bounds on Attempted Martyr with their unashamed will to be eclectic, influence-wise. And these first hints of such can be heard past the album's title track, a beautiful Islamic prayer and thank you to Allah on All Hail, a real opener that kicks the listener's ass through its menacing intro, sampling the same Hojok sample that was used in renowned Japanese experimental band Ground Zero's 57-minute-long discordant epic Consume Red. Furthermore, several eyebrow-raising lyrics along the lines of "I'm the motherfucker who took down the towers" and "just watch me push the button and make history repeat" easily expose the ideals of the main character this album follows, a zealot who blindly fights for his extreme form of Islam that, through his evangelism, he engages in nothing but terror to promote it, even if it ultimately fails him in the end, which the band has clarified on multiple occasions. Does that scream pushing beyond their bounds or what? You tell me. The album largely maintains this intensity, though, through the rest of its runtime. I had to agree with Mr. Anthony Fantano when he said Jomana Kairouz was probably the catchiest song on this album. Its dance punk meets noise rock sensibilities make this cut sound eerily reminiscent of The Reason They Hate Me by The Daughters, with the subject in question being the Lebanese attorney of the same name who owns more than several law firms around the state of Michigan, including one in Dearborn, and is supposed to be the object of the zealot's sexual desire. It's a very horny song, if I gotta say. Other cuts such as M. Dada, Judge, and Body Me heighten the extremely jihadic terror with backbeats, bass lines, and reedy tones continuing to crescendo, as Mo maintains his determination to rant in the form of the character of the zealot, that the songs largely orbit around. Senegal here is probably the heaviest track on this album by far, and is where I would say the real climax of the album hits, if you could call it one, because there's way too many of them on this album. The sludge comes in harder on this track here, though, compared to the rest of the album, drawing comparisons to Zenigeva and even Today Is the Day, as dissonant chords resembling the panic chords of mathcore can be heard in the midst of the rolling thunder of this track. In the Corner Dunce and Harem Induction Hour, despite being among the lighter tracks on Attempted Martyr, still exude their fair share of avant-garde ooze, echoing the brunt of their aforementioned predecessors The Fall, as well as other artsy post-punk contemporaries to a degree, such as Public Image Limited and Perubu. They show the band at their easiest, even as still confrontational as they are in the rest of the album, true to their formula. Really thinking about it now though, at least a year after release, this album itself serves simultaneously as a celebration of Arab culture and a satire of its religion taken to its most extreme. The unfortunate current situation in the Middle East involving Lebanon with the Israel-Palestine conflict certainly bolstered the attention given to this debut from Prostitute, and for very good reason, I have to say. By taking upon the Arab terrorist stereotype and presenting it in a terrifyingly realistic manner, Prostitute are able to exercise their culture and smear it in the faces of those who had belittled Arabs since the Bush administration's post-9/11 interventions in the Middle East in the mid-2000s. In a way, it was the best way for the band to say fuck you to Dearborn's old mayor, Orville Hubbard, a stark conservative who was a prominent advocate for segregation in his area. Being among those at the front of the incoming vanguard of American experimental rock and punk, however, such as Yahweh Nailgun and Model Actrice, among many others, Prostitute truly solidified themselves as a modern pillar of noise rock through their unique musically cultural fusion and the confrontational vocal delivery from the album's persona whose zealotry only leads to death and downfall in the long run. However, I found myself developing an interest in Arab culture, in conjunction with prior experience provided by my dad's work in the Middle East, through constant listening of this album. And that is probably the most impressive thing Prostitute were really able to do, especially on a personal level. Think about that title track once again. A full 5-star score is absolutely deserved. Baraka Allah fi hadhihi al-majmua. Hey guys, hope you liked that video review. And if you really did, don't forget to smash those like and subscribe buttons if you want to see more content from me, which I most definitely will be working on. Feel free to comment what you thought of the album. Was it to your expectations? Do you disagree with me? Too confrontational for you, perhaps? Anything that comes to mind. For now, though, I shall go. Bye-bye!